We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Donald Trump safe after another apparent assassination attempt at a Florida golf club. FBI takes suspect in custody. Trump retorts that nothing will slow him down and he will never surrender. President Biden says there is no place for political violence. Typhoon Bebinca makes landfall in Shanghai as a Category 1 storm, most powerful tropical cyclone to hit megacities since 1949. All flights cancelled from cities to airports. Europe faces nature's fury. Storm Boris wreaks havoc across Romania, Czech Republic, Poland, while thousands evacuated. Germany and Austria brace for worst as threat of floods looms large. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate 4th Global Reinvest Renewable Energy Investors Meet in Gujarat will also flag off several Vande Bharat trains, including India's first Vande Metro from Bhuj to Ahmedabad. Netanyahu says Israel would inflict a heavy price on Yemen's Houthis after their missile reaches central Israel for first time. No injuries reported.
They should have known by now that we were exacting a heavy price for every attempt to harm us.
On to the details now. Former U.S. President Trump narrowly survived yet another assassination attempt in South Florida just 2 months after another gunman tried to kill the Republican presidential candidate. The former president said he was safe and well and authorities held a man in custody. The FBI said it is investigating the assassination attempt. Trump released a statement on Sunday afternoon declaring, "I'm safe and well and no one was hurt." Law enforcement officials have detained a man who they said had been hiding in bushes bordering the Trump International Golf Club. The suspected attack on Trump's life comes little more than 7 weeks before he faces Vice President Kamala Harris in a tense and closely fought presidential election. It is the second time a man armed with an assault rifle has tried to kill the 45th president in 2 months. And President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris have expressed relief that former President Donald Trump has escaped unhurt in a second assassination attempt in Florida. Vice President Kamala Harris issued a statement following the incident. Harris expressed relief that Trump is safe and said that violence has no place in the United States. Harris's vice presidential running mate Tim Walz reiterated Harris' message, adding, "It's not who we are as a nation." Trump's running mate, U.S. Senator J.D. Vance said, "I'm glad President Trump is safe. I spoke to him before the news was public and he was amazingly in good spirits." And as former president and the Republican candidate for the upcoming elections, Donald Trump witnessed another assassination attempt on his life. We take a look at the assassination attempts on presidents and American leaders in the past. Well, U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt was shot in the chest in 1912 while campaigning for election in Milwaukee, but insisted on delivering his speech to supporters before being taken to the hospital. While President Gerald Ford survived 2 attempts on his life in less than 3 weeks in 1975 without being hurt, former President Ronald Reagan was shot in 1981 outside the Hilton Hotel in Washington. Reagan was wounded when one of the bullets bounced off a limousine and struck him under the left armpit. Donald Trump survived an attempt on his life during a campaign speech in Pennsylvania on July 13th when shots rang out. Trump was shot in the ear. Robert F. Kennedy, who was the brother of former President John F. Kennedy, was a U.S. presidential candidate and a senator. Kennedy was assassinated in 1968 by a gunman in the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. Alabama Governor George C. Wallace, who was a candidate for the Democratic presidential nomination, was shot in 1972 and became paralyzed from the waist down. Well, Donald Trump posted on his Truth social account, "I hate Taylor Swift," 5 days after the singer's endorsement of his opponent, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris. The post came as a surprise, even from the provocative Donald Trump. Though the all-caps post on his Truth social website came without accompanying commentary or explanation, the context was clear. Soon after Harris finished debating her Republican rival Donald Trump on Tuesday night, Swift told her followers that Harris and running mate Tim Walz would get a vote in the election. Swift drew more than 9 million likes to her Instagram post backing Vice President Kamala Harris for president from celebrities that included Jennifer Aniston, U.S. basketball star Caitlin Clark, and Selena Gomez. And Typhoon Bebinca made landfall in Shanghai on Monday morning as a Category 1 storm, the most powerful tropical cyclone to directly hit in more than 7 decades. The China Meteorological Administration has issued a typhoon red alert, warning of gales and heavy rains in the region. Hundreds of flights have been cancelled from cities to airports. Major tourist attractions are temporarily closed. Railway and transportation services have been suspended for safety reasons. The typhoon could be the strongest tropical cyclone to hit Shanghai since Typhoon Gloria in 1949. Another Typhoon Yagi killed at least 4 people and injured 95 when it struck China's southern island of Henan earlier this month. And some parts of the Czech Republic and Poland faced the worst flooding in almost 3 decades as towns evacuated thousands of residents due to Storm Boris. More rain and strong winds are forecasted until at least Monday in Central Europe. 250,000 Czech homes were without power. Authorities are on high alert with more rain anticipated. Meanwhile, the director of the Fire Rescue Service reported that over 200 fallen trees have been cleared within the past 24 hours. A bridge collapsed in the historic Polish town of Gluczoslazy near the Czech border, and 1,600 residents were evacuated after local rivers reached record high levels on Sunday. 1 person died in Kłodzko County, which Prime Minister Donald Tusk said was the worst hit area of the country after meeting officials in the main town.
The situation is indeed still very dramatic in many areas, as you yourself all reporting on throughout the day. The most dramatic situation is in the Kłodzka Valley in Kłodzka County, that is, of course, Stony Salaski and Ladakh.
While Germany and neighboring Austria have been bracing for floods as water levels in the rivers rise above the danger mark amid heavy rainfall. In Germany, the largest state of Bavaria, along with other regions bordering Austria, are among the worst hit. A river along the border breached its banks. Authorities declared a warning at level 3 or 4 for southern and eastern Germany. Meanwhile, Austria has declared its entire federal state of Lower Austria an area of disaster due to heavy rainfall. The military has deployed to 2,400 officials for flood relief and rescue work. Firefighters have also been involved in installation of emergency shelters. Moreover, devastating floods early last week caused walls of a prison in Nigeria's Maiduguri to collapse, allowing 281 prisoners to escape, prison officials said on Sunday. 7 of the escaped inmates have been recaptured in operations by security agencies. Umar Abubakar, spokesperson for the Nigeria Correctional Services, said in a statement. He also said that operations to recapture the remainder of the inmates are underway. The flooding began when a dam overflowed following heavy rains, killing at least 30 people, according to the country's emergency agency. And the conflict in the West Asia continues to assume wider proportions when a ballistic missile fired by terrorist group Houthi from Yemen reached Israel for the first time on Sunday. Houthi military said the new hypersonic ballistic missile traveled 2,040 kilometers in just 11.5 minutes. The missile triggered air raid sirens in Tel Aviv and across central Israel, sending residents running for shelter. An Israeli military said the missile was hit by an interceptor and fragmented in the air rather than being completely destroyed. It also said that 40 projectiles were also fired towards Israel from Lebanon on Sunday and were either intercepted or landed in open areas. The Houthis have fired missiles and drones at Israel repeatedly in what they say is solidarity with the Palestinians since the Gaza conflict began with the Hamas attack on Israel in October. And meanwhile, Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu has vowed heavy price for the missile attack. Referring to Hodeidah port strikes on Houthis in July, he said whoever needs a reminder of that is invited to visit the Hodeidah port. Previously, a drone that hit Tel Aviv for the first time in July killed a man and wounded 4 people. And in response, Israeli airstrikes on Houthi military targets near the port of Hodeidah killed 6 and wounded 80 people.
We are in a multi-front campaign against Iran's axis of evil, which is striving for our destruction. Houthis launched a surface-to-surface missile from Yemen into our territory. They should have known by now that we were exacting a heavy price for every attempt to harm us. Anyone who needs a reminder on this matter is welcome to visit the port of Hodeidah. Whoever attacks us will not evade our strike. Hamas is already learning this through our determined action, which will bring about its destruction and the release of all of our hostages.
Well, Russia launched a drone attack overnight on Kyiv with air defense units engaged in repelling the strikes. Earlier in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city, a Russian-guided bomb struck a multi-story apartment building on Sunday, igniting a fierce fire, killing 1 person and leaving 42 injured, including 3 children. The devastating attack caused significant damage to the building, with smoke and flames pouring from shattered windows. Kharkiv's mayor confirmed the fire was eventually extinguished, though fears remain that residents may be trapped beneath the rubble. Located near the Russian border, Kharkiv is no stranger to these relentless assaults from bombs, missiles and drones, suffering near daily attacks. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Sunday once again urged Western allies to permit Kyiv to strike military targets deep inside Russia, especially air bases, after a deadly attack on Kharkiv. Zelensky in his nightly video address said 3 other guided bombs had struck villages in Kharkiv region, where population centers have been a frequent target of Russian attacks near the Russian border. Zelensky called for rapid decisions on long-range strikes. He said appropriate decisions were expected in the first instance from the United States, France, Germany and Italy.
Every Russian strike of this nature, every instance of Russian terror, like today in Kharkiv, this proves that there must be long-range capability and it must be sufficient. We are waiting for appropriate decisions coming primarily from the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy.
And Venezuelan Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello accused Spain of planning to supply mercenaries for a U.S.-led anti-government operation in Venezuela. According to Cabello, the detained identified Spaniards belong to the Center for National Intelligence of Spain. Russian free diver Alexei Molchanov set a new world record in free diving, plunging into a depth of 125 meters in the Mediterranean Sea during the EDA Free Diving World Championships in France's Corsica. The free diver broke his own world record, which he had set in 2023 by 1 meter. Actor Andrew Scott and rapper Jelly Roll were among the first to arrive at the annual Emmy Awards in Hollywood on Sunday. The evening is expected to be dominated by the series Shogun and the Bear. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. In its bid to help countries affected by Typhoon Yagi, India launches Operation Sadbhav, sends massive aid to Myanmar, Vietnam and Laos. Muslims across the world celebrate Eid al-Mawlid, the birth of Holy Prophet Muhammad, today. And in sports, defending champions India will take on South Korea in the semi-finals of Asia Champions Trophy.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Vipakshi Khurana, and moving on, India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi is on a two-day visit to his home state, Gujarat. On Monday, the Prime Minister will address and inaugurate the 4th Global Renewable Energy Investment Meet 2024 in Gandhinagar. The two-day event will showcase the renewable energy sector prowess of India and seeks to attract investment in this sector. Multiple companies, including Tata Power, Suzlon Energy, Worry, amongst others, are showcasing their offerings and achievements in this sector. Even countries like Germany and the European Union have set up their pavilion at the exhibition in Gandhinagar to showcase their country's offerings. Besides, Prime Minister Modi will also flag off India's first Vande Metro from Bhuj to Ahmedabad and several Vande Bharat trains. The Vande Bharat trains will run from Nagpur to Sikandrabad, Kolhapur to Pune, Agra Cant to Banaras, Durg to Vishakhapatnam, Pune to Hubali, and the first 20-coach Vande Bharat train from Varanasi to Delhi. Prime Minister Modi will also lay the foundation stone and inaugurate developmental projects worth more than 8,000 crore rupees in Ahmedabad. Prime Minister will also sanction over 30,000 houses under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin and release their first installments. And after inaugurating Ahmedabad Metro Rail Project Phase 2, Prime Minister Modi will take a metro ride from Section 1 Metro Station till Gift City Metro Station. DD India correspondent Meghna Dev spoke to the director of Gujarat Metro Rail Corporation for more.
Joined in by Sanjeev Mehta, who is the director of Gujarat Metro Rail Corporation, and we are on the trial ride of the metro, which will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 16th of September. Sir, which places is this route going to connect? How many stations are you opening at the moment? Can you give us more details?
So what I would explain is this phase 2 of Gujarat Metro Rail Corporation project is the extension of already running north-south section, where we are running a chain from APMC to Motera. So this phase 2 will connect the Ahmedabad to the Gandhinagar. So for initial phase, we are connecting 8 stations, and then there is one more branch line which goes from JNLU to Gift City.
When we're talking about the connectivity between Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar, which is something that the local people are waiting for as well, how you see that?
Yeah, I can see the joy. I mean, people are eagerly awaiting this project because, and it is also giving a lot of, friendly transportation mean, because if you see, we have escalator lifts everywhere. We have particularly taken care of the passenger amenity services. So whatever I have interacted with people and others, they are very happy about this.
Metro rail route being inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the 16th of September, we'll definitely be seeing that it will connect various places with opening up of 8 stations in the Gandhinagar route, and it will slowly be also connecting to Ahmedabad. With camera person Lakshman Rajput, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Gandhinagar.
And India is committed towards reducing the carbon footprint, and rooftop solar energy not only provides green energy but also cuts down the electricity bill. The Narendra Modi government in India is giving a special subsidy that encourages people to go for it. On his 2-day visit to the state of Gujarat, the Indian Prime Minister would be interacting with the beneficiaries of this scheme. DD India correspondent Vishal Baristo finds out with some of the beneficiaries who are quite excited and prepared to receive the Prime Minister in their locality.
I'm here in Wawol in the city of Gandhinagar, and this is Shaleen to Society. So what brings the Prime Minister here?
We are very happy, first of all, because Prime Minister Narendra Modi come to our society, Shaleen to Wawol, because solar energy productions is very good for our society and our national and international level. And our Prime Minister is very visionary.
First of all, excitement is about the coming of Prime Minister. He is coming for the first time to our society, and we guys are really excited for it. And the reason for him coming is solar panels and solar energy. So we are very excited for him to come here.
Why is solar panels so beneficial for you?
It's beneficial especially for economically support. When we use AC or other electronic item in the summer, it will help. We have a bill like 10,000 or any more. But when we get a solar panel, we have a bill pay 0% in our house.
This is the society, and there you can see the excitement on their faces. And why not? Because they have shown the way how you should use clean and green energy, and at the same time how can you save your electricity bill. With cameraman Piyush in Gandhinagar, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
And India on Sunday launched the Operation Sadbhav with an aim to help people affected by Typhoon Yagi in countries including Myanmar, Vietnam and Laos. Under the mission, tons of aid, including dry rations, clothing and medicines, have been sent to Myanmar aboard the Indian Navy's warship INS Satpura. Relief goods to people of Vietnam affected by Typhoon Yagi delivered in Hanoi on Sunday by special Indian aircraft. 35 tons of water purifiers, kitchen sets, blankets, mosquito nets, solar lamps and water containers were handed by the ambassador. While emergency flood relief assistance was sent to Lao PTR, 10 tons of relief supplies airlifted on board IF aircraft and handed over by Ambassador Prashant Agarwal to Lao Vice Minister for Labour and Social Welfare. And campaigning is in full swing for the first phase of the assembly elections in India's Jammu and Kashmir. 24 assembly constituencies will go to polls in this phase on the 18th of this month. Top leaders of major political parties are making all-out efforts to woo the voters. The three-phase elections to the 90-member Jammu and Kashmir Assembly will be held on September 18th, September 25th and October 1st. The results will be declared on the 8th of October. Now let's take a look at other stories making news today. Amid growing instabilities in the region, top commanders of the Indian Navy would review the security scenario in and around the country from Tuesday. The meeting of the Indian Navy top brass comes soon after Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's call to the Defence Forces to be ready for the unexpected at the recently held Joint Commanders Conference in Lucknow. The growing Chinese activities and support to Pakistan in terms of military hardware has also been a key concern for security brass. Volunteers conducted bike rally aimed at creating awareness about the importance of voting and the role of youth in the electoral process in Jammu and Kashmir's Doda. Participants, especially youth, spread messages about the power of individual votes in determining leaders who will shape policies affecting issues such as education, employment, climate change and social justice, which are often of direct concern to younger generations. Devotees will bid a grand and emotional farewell to Lord Ganesha on Monday by immersing the idols of Lord Ganesha across India. Chants of Ganpati Bappa Moria urging the Lord to return early next year filled the air as devotees took their idols to beaches and artificial water bodies for immersion during Ganesh Visarjan. It is believed that the god who comes to the earthly realm on Ganesh Chaturthi returns to his celestial abode after immersion. World celebrates Eid al-Mawlid, the birth of Holy Prophet Muhammad. Muslims across the globe observe this occasion with immense happiness. Mecca, a city in Saudi Arabia, is the birthplace of Prophet Muhammad. Eid al-Mawlid is a significant celebration for Muslims dedicated to honoring the birth of Prophet Muhammad. A 13-year-old school student, Presley Shekhianaha, creates a portrait of PM Narendra Modi using grains and lentils in a 12-hour-long effort ahead of the PM's 74th birthday on September 17th. The artwork is not just a visual masterpiece, but a symbol of the youth's recognition of Modi's leadership and contributions to the nation. Well, you're watching DD India Live. Time now for some updates from the world of sports. In hockey, the battle lines are drawn for the penultimate fight for the Asian Champions Trophy 2024 as India, Pakistan, China and Korea prepare for the semi-final scheduled in China on Monday. Pakistan will face off against the host side in this first semi-final of the day at 1:15 p.m. IST. Pakistan stands second in their standings, trailing only the unbeaten India. They kicked off their campaign with a 2-2 draw against Malaysia, followed by another 2-2 draw with South Korea. On the other hand, China, led by Chen Qinjun, secured their semi-final spot with a crucial 2-0 win over Japan in the final pool match of the tournament. Meanwhile, in second semi-finals, defending champions India will take on South Korea at 3:30 p.m. IST. India is the only unbeaten team in the tournament, having defeated China 3-0, Japan 5-1, Malaysia 8-1, Korea 3-1 and Pakistan 2-1. The reigning Asian Games gold medalist is upbeat ahead of the Korea clash. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Kurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.